On December 14th, Andrew Tate confronted Jake Paul in an unexpected street altercation. And trust me, it was something to see. Jake, known for his bold talk, seemed to be seeking attention, perhaps assuming he could throw some casual trash talk and keep the mood playful. But what he didn't anticipate was that this wasn't a boxing ring. There were no cameras rolling for a promotional clip, and this wasn't some staged WWE stunt. This was a spontaneous real-life encounter. And things got real fast.
Jake Paul, it's clear to me you are desperate for a reality check. You know what? If I made my money impressing 4-year-olds on YouTube and managed to somehow become a multi-millionaire from it, I'd probably live in a dream world too. But let me explain something to you about combat sports. There are a whole bunch of men out here who will never be as famous as you, will never make the money you've made, who would kick the living fuck out.
Andrew Tate, ever composed and collected, approached Jake Paul with his trademark confidence. He wasn't interested in a trivial war of words or playful banter. Tate had a single goal: to make a statement. Trash-talking someone like Andrew Tate comes with consequences, and Jake was about to learn that the hard way.
Andrew Tate, keeping his cool as always, approached Jake in a way only he could. He wasn't there to engage in a verbal sparring match. He was there to send a message. You don't trash talk someone like Andrew Tate and get away with it.
In that brief moment, it seemed Jake Paul realized this wasn't a YouTube skit anymore. No punches had been thrown yet, but Andrew Tate's sheer physical presence was enough to shake Jake's confidence. For a split second, his bravado faltered, and you could almost see the realization dawn on him. Wait, this guy's serious. We all know there's history between Jake Paul and Andrew Tate, history that goes beyond the usual YouTube versus social media star drama. This feud feels personal, at least as personal as it can get between two highly self-assured, if not outright arrogant, figures who've built their careers on commanding attention. But sometimes the spotlight gets a little too bright, and that's when things erupt. Andrew Tate doesn't need the money. With a net worth of $710 million, he's more than set. What's really on the line here is respect. Now, let's dive into what went down. The real tension began when Jake Paul, fresh off bouts with lower-tier fighters, and no, we're not going to debate whether those were legitimate challenges, started name-dropping big contenders for his next match. A legend in the sport. Calling out Tyson is bold, to say the least. You're either incredibly confident or naive enough to think you stand a chance. Jake, ever the showman, was clearly looking to cash in. Tyson, unsurprisingly, wasn't biting. For Jake, though, it was never just about the fight. It was about the spectacle. He wanted a matchup that wouldn't just make headlines, but also rake in millions through ticket sales and pay-per-views. And what better way to do that than to challenge a living legend? 3 weeks ago, a commenter named Venture the Unknown summed it up perfectly. Andrew Tate will knock Jake into next week. Vilvik Silveston. The only problem? Mike Tyson, a heavyweight champion with a legendary legacy, wasn't interested in participating in Jake Paul's circus act. Tyson had seen enough over the years to spot a publicity stunt from a mile away, and he wasn't about to entertain it. This left Jake scrambling to find someone else to match his big talk. Enter Andrew Tate. Watching Jake Paul challenge legends while dodging genuine competition was all the motivation Tate needed. Known for his no-nonsense approach and sharp critique of fake bravado, Tate saw an opportunity to step in. Though not a boxer, he's a decorated kickboxer with multiple championships under his belt and a reputation for fearlessly speaking his mind. Let's be real, this whole Jake Paul fight narrative was practically an open invitation for Tate to get involved. And he did exactly what you'd expect from someone with his ego and history of taking on challengers. He called Jake out. Tate's challenge wasn't subtle. It was bold and unmistakable. This wasn't about a charity match or a friendly sparring session like Jake's past opponents. For Tate, this was about two things: serious money and even more serious respect.
Yeah, he'll never do that, though. He knows. He knows way.
One, he's under contract. And
he's
two,
not his own boss.
And two, he won't do it. He knows better. He might
and it's
say,
funny to say, like, yo, Conor McGregor is scared of Jake Paul will never.
Tate's challenge wasn't subtle. It was bold and unmistakable. This wasn't about a charity match or a friendly sparring session like Jake's past opponents. For Tate, this was about two things: serious money and even more serious respect.
I'm one of the lucky ones. I made a little bit of money. I don't have 50 million to bet with you, but I do have 3 million to bet with you. So this is your offer. $3 million. You put 3, I put 3. Winner takes all. I'm 5 years out the ring. I'm a kick.
And how much was this fight worth? Just a casual $50 million, eh? No big deal. Picture this. Jake Paul, the social media kingpin who's been cashing in millions from his boxing matches, going head-to-head with Andrew Tate, a kickboxing champion boasting millions of followers and an even heftier bank account. But Tate isn't just any contender. He's a seasoned fighter who's been honing his craft long before Jake ever considered lacing up gloves. For Tate, this fight wasn't about the money. He already has a net worth of $710 million and could easily retire to a life of luxury. This was about proving a point. While Jake was focused on the spectacle and payday, Tate was focused on showing the world who the real fighter was. For him, it wasn't just business, it was personal. And that's what set this clash apart.
But let's say he would call you to fight. Would you take it?
Yeah, I mean, Jake and I actually talk. He's an all right guy. There was a time we were talking about fighting each other, and I think if this arrest didn't happen, it probably would have come to fruition. We'll see what happens.
Now let's take a moment to talk about Jake Paul because, well, he's Jake Paul. And if there's one thing you can always count on with him, it's that he'll never stop talking. After Andrew Tate's call-out, Jake didn't back down. Oh no, he did exactly what he does best: trash talk. Jake wasted no time hurling insults at Tate, questioning his fighting skills and tossing out jabs like it was second nature. Let's be honest, Jake's brand of trash talk isn't exactly Shakespearean. Andrew Tate's just a washed-up fighter trying to stay relevant, Jake declared in one of his many Instagram rants. This guy's nothing but an internet personality. I'm the future of boxing, and I'm going to crush him. Classic Jake Paul. Loud, confident, and always ready to stir the pot. There it was, the classic Jake Paul move. He called Andrew Tate washed up, just like he's done with every other fighter who didn't immediately bow down to him. But if we're being honest, was that a smart move? Probably not. Jake should have known better. Andrew Tate isn't the type to just sit back when someone questions his reputation, especially given his extensive experience in combat sports. Tate knows how to make a statement, and Jake should have seen that coming. But true to form, Jake couldn't help himself. The more he talked, the deeper he dug his own hole. The world watched as Tate calmly responded, daring Jake to step into the ring. Jake, with his Twitter fingers, kept firing back. What happened next? Well, things escalated quickly. Jake was about to learn a harsh lesson. You don't just trash talk Andrew Tate without facing consequences. Meanwhile, Floyd Mayweather was watching from the sidelines like a disappointed parent. Floyd didn't just call Jake out. He completely tore him apart. He branded Jake a cherry picker, accusing him of only stepping into the ring with opponents he knew he could easily beat. Let's face it, Floyd wasn't wrong. Jake's fights seem more about creating a highlight reel for YouTube than actually proving himself as a boxer.
He does tend to keep those guards down, but he's comfy at that point.
The scuffle wasn't long. It didn't need to be. The point was made. Jake Paul, the brash, cocky social media star who had been running his mouth for so long, was finally face-to-face with someone who wasn't afraid to shut him up. And that's exactly what happened. The media exploded. Headlines screamed, "Andrew Tate attacks Jake Paul," and the internet had a field day with the moment. But here's the thing. Tate wasn't out to ruin Jake Paul. He didn't need to. He had already gotten what mattered. Jake Paul, however, learned the hard way what happens when you mess with the wrong person. Andrew Tate's street encounter with Jake wasn't just another celebrity drama, it was a statement. And if you're Jake Paul, this should have taught you a valuable lesson. Respect isn't something you can talk your way into. You have to earn it. So the next time you throw insults around, maybe think twice before it's someone like Andrew Tate who's there to remind you just how fragile that bravado really is.